Sometimes it's not the man in the suit doing the real thinking, it's the suit itself. Here are 8 times Iron Man's armor was smarter than Tony Stark, starting with the Mark 42 saving Pepper instead of him. Iron Man 3. Tony's Malibu mansion is getting shelled from the ocean, and everything is collapsing around him. His first instinct? Call the suit to himself. Because of course, he's Iron Man, the suit is his and he's going to fight his way out of this. The armor had other plans. Mid-flight, the Mark 42 breaks trajectory, flies straight past Tony and wraps itself around Pepper instead. It shields her, lifts her, and throws her clear of the explosion before the whole room comes down. Now here's the thing about that. Tony is armored. Tony has options. Tony can survive some of this. Pepper is just standing in the open with nowhere to go. The suit ran that triage calculation faster than Tony's panicked human brain could even form the thought. He built an AI that could look at a crisis, decide who needed protecting most, and act on that before he could second-guess it. That's not just impressive engineering. That's the armor understanding Tony's priorities better than Tony did in that moment. The suit literally chose Pepper over its own owner. And honestly, good call. And if the Mark 42 outsmarted Tony in one moment, Veronica outsmarted him for an entire fight. Age of Ultron. Wanda turns Bruce into the most dangerous thing in Johannesburg.
I'm calling it Veronica.
Tony's response? One word. Veronica. After that, he is not the smartest thing in this fight anymore. The satellite is. Hulkbuster modules drop from orbit, snap together in midair, and assemble around Tony before the thought is even finished. Then Veronica launches a self-assembling electrified cage, straight down from space, specifically designed to contain an angry Hulk. You'd think that'd be the end of it. But then Hulk starts winning, and this is where it gets absurd. Hulk tears an arm clean off the Hulkbuster. Veronica just sends a replacement arm down from orbit, in real time, while the fight is still happening. Tony doesn't call for it. The system tracks the damage and fires it down automatically. Tony's plan in this fight was basically survive. Veronica's plan was deploy armor, drop cage, monitor damage, repair on the fly, repeat until the big green guy runs out of steam. That's not a suit. That's Tony's paranoia turned into orbital infrastructure. And without it, this fight ends very differently, but that orbital paranoia only gets you so far. When Infinity War rolls around, Tony needed something smarter. Something that could keep up with a fight that moves faster than hardware can be swapped out. Enter the Mark 50. New York. Ebony Maw is doing his dramatic arrival speech. Tony's standing there in a hoodie talking trash. He taps the chest reactor, and the Mark 50 just flows over him. Like liquid, in seconds. Full armor, space-worthy, weapons ready, head to toe. No suitcase, no assembly window, no half-second where an enemy could get a lucky shot in. While Tony is still mouthing off about embarrassing wizards, the suit is already configuring thrusters, repulsors, and heavy firepower for exactly the fight it's about to be in. It's like the armor already did the threat assessment before Tony finished the joke. Every suit before this had a vulnerability gap during suit-up. One open second, one exposed moment. The Mark 50 engineers that weakness out of existence entirely. Tony didn't get faster. He built a suit that refuses to give the enemy an opening. That's a different level of thinking. And the Mark 50 doesn't just suit up smart, it thinks smart mid-fight too. Later on Maw's ship heading toward Titan, a missile hits and blows a hole in the hull. In space. You know what that means. Everything and everyone starts getting pulled toward that hole, and the countdown starts immediately. Tony doesn't stop fighting. He doesn't turn around. He doesn't even react to it, because the suit already handled it. Nanotech peels off his armor, flows to the breach, and hardens into a seal before the pressure can drop enough to kill anyone. No command, no micromanagement. The suit detected the depressurization event and responded while Tony's full attention was somewhere else entirely. He's tunnel visioning the enemy. The armor is running life support in the background. The hull breach gets fixed and Tony never even looked at it. That's just the Mark 50 doing parallel processing on problems Tony hasn't registered yet. And speaking of the Mark 50 solving problems Tony can't punch his way through, Titan. The plan is to get the Infinity Gauntlet off Thanos. The problem? You cannot overpower Thanos. You will not outmuscle a man holding 6 Infinity Stones. Tony knows this. So instead of throwing more repulsor blasts at someone who shrugs them off, the Mark 50 does something smarter. It fires nanotech directly onto the Infinity Gauntlet. The particles bloom into a clamp, wrapping around Thanos' hand and locking his fingers open. No closed fist, no snap, no stones. The suit didn't go after the man, it went after the mechanism. Tony is physically outmatched and he knows it, so his armor quietly removes the one thing that makes Thanos actually dangerous, his ability to close his hand. For a few crucial seconds, the only thing standing between the universe and a snap is a thin layer of Stark nanotech on one purple hand. That's not brute force. That's problem solving at a level Tony's actual fists simply couldn't reach. And then Thanos reminds everyone why he's Thanos. He gets through it. He tears the Mark 50 apart piece by piece. And then he stabs Tony through the torso on an alien planet with no medical backup and nowhere to go. You'd think that's it. Well, as Thanos is ripping the suit apart, the Mark 50 starts triaging itself. It pulls nanotech from low priority areas and routes it to reinforce arms, chest, and repulsors. The suit is choosing what parts of Tony are worth protecting most in real time and sacrificing the rest to keep the critical systems online. And after the stab, it deploys a medical suture function. Its own particles seal the wound. No instruction from Tony. He's just trying to breathe. The armor becomes his field medic. Tony once said he built the suits for the days he might need them. This is what that actually looks like. Not just armor, a system that decides you don't need that leg right now, but you do need a heartbeat, and acts on that faster than you can feel the pain. On Titan, Tony's body is done. The only reason he keeps fighting is because the armor refuses to let him stop. But all of that, every repair, every clamp, every sealed breach, it was all building toward one moment. Endgame. Tony helps design the Nano Gauntlet, a glove built from nanotech that can auto-resize, generate stone slots, and reshape itself around whoever puts it on. Hulk wears it. Thanos wears it. The gauntlet adapts each time. Its whole job is to make wielding godlike power barely survivable for someone who isn't a god. That alone is extraordinary engineering. But then comes the moment that makes it legendary. In the final battle, Thanos gets the Nano Gauntlet. He fights his way toward a snap that ends everything. Everyone else is too late. Tony grabs the gauntlet. Looks like another desperate, outmatched lunge from a guy running on fumes. Except under the surface, the Mark 85's nanotech is already interfacing with the Stark tech inside the Nano Gauntlet, silently pulling the Infinity Stones out of their slots and transferring them directly into Tony's armor. By the time Thanos snaps his fingers, nothing happens. The stones aren't there anymore. The suit already moved them. And then Tony raises his hand. The Mark 85 builds its own gauntlet around his fingers in real time. The stones lock in. I am Iron Man. Snap. No human hand is fast enough or precise enough to do what the nanotech just did. No ordinary armor could reroute that level of power without tearing itself apart. Tony came up with the strategy. His suit executed the part that was physically impossible for any living thing to pull off.